Today I'm going to show you guys how I did this textured ceiling in the guest room that we're redoing. This is my son's old room before he moved out. So we're kind of redoing it, doing a video series on what I'm doing to revamp the room. So I took down the popcorn ceiling, which you guys have seen before, and I put up the texture ceiling. So as you can see, get closer to some of this stuff so you can see. So got a real nice textured ceiling in place of the crappy popcorn ceiling. So that's where I'm at. And we'll turn the blank room into this. So let's scan around the room a little bit and I'll show you the finished product. Okay, well, so you saw the final product. So now I will show you how I got there, step by step. I sped up the process a great deal so that you wouldn't want to hang yourself by the end of the video. So without further ado, here we go. So for the joint compound, you don't want to get it on there too thick, and of course you don't want to get it on there too thin. This is actually the third time I did this section because I was trying to get the exact, trying to figure out how actually thick it needed to be. And this is about 1/8 of an inch, maybe a little bit more than 1/8 of an inch thick. And you want to, as you see with the bag, you want to create some nice peaks when you're pulling it away. And you'll see my trowel work here is a little, I call it timid, and you'll see towards the end of the video how I'm just like going over it real easily, so because I know exactly how much to push down, what angle to keep the trowel at. And as you'll see, I'm kind of like doing it in little sections here, trying to figure out again, but I get better and better at it as I go through the ceiling. Those long strokes right like that from one end to the other are the best way to do it without stopping. And you want to go the same direction. You don't want to change direction. So once you get going like from left to right in the room, you don't want to start going front to back. As you'll see, I'm going left to right each time, or right to left, left to right. Going the same direction with each of the dragging of the trowel. Slowing it down here just so you can kind of get to see how fast I go across the angle of the trowel. It's almost flat, and decent speed just to kind of go through it. And the great thing about it is if you mess up an area, you just take your trowel and you scrape it off, and you put some more joint compound up there and do the bag technique again and go over it again. The whole room took me about, gosh, I want to say once all the prep work and everything was done, to actually do this, put the joint compound up there, probably took me about 2.5 hours. As you can see though, I'm fairly tall and I don't need a ladder, so if you're shorter than me, which most people are, you'll probably need a ladder. It may take a little bit longer, but as you see, this is actually the end of me putting the joint compound up. So what I'm doing now is of course my trowel techniques aren't great, so I didn't get up against the edge of the wall probably like I should have. So what I'm doing here is actually filling in the little edges so I can get a nice crisp paint line when I paint the walls later. So that's all I'm doing here, is kind of like filling in the edges to make it all nice and even. And then here I am at the last part of it. I'm just doing the paint along the edges of the wall and the ceiling, so I can do the roller, the whole holes. So again, just going around the whole edge right now. This is the end of it. I bought some just basic, your actual, you know, right from the local hardware store, flat white ceiling paint. The joint compound dry is just like a very, it's almost white, but it's a little gray. So the flat white paint, you get an actual, you know, flat white ceiling again. It looks almost identical once it's dry, but at least now it's got a coat of paint on there. I let the joint compound dry for a day or two, then I actually went over with my finger, and any like little divots that I didn't like or any little lines that I didn't like, I went ahead and filled in or knocked down with the trowel. So the painting actually is like 3 or 4 days later. Actually, it's probably the next weekend. And then here I am. I've gone around the rest of the room. I'm just looking to make sure I got good coverage of the paint. That's all I'm doing here. What I've got left now is to repaint the doors, do the trim work around the doors and the baseboards, and then paint these walls. And then we're also replacing the carpet. As you can see, the carpet's definitely seen better days. So that's where I'm at. So hopefully you guys are enjoying this. If not, sorry. Later.